What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Average Bob, and in today's video, we are going to talk about the upcoming matchup between the New York Giants and the Washington Commanders. Giants are coming into this one. This is a home game for the Giants, 1 p.m. on Sunday. Giants are coming into this one as a 4-point underdog right now in the Vegas line. Rightfully so. They're 2-6 at this point with some pretty horrific losses, and the offense is seeing one of the worst stretches of its play all season and probably in the last couple of years. On the flip side of things, the Commanders are on a hot streak. They have their franchise quarterback of the future in Jaden Daniels. They are 6-2, and they also are coming off one of their most exciting wins that they've had in years with the walk-off Hail Mary versus the Bears. And the Giants don't have much going on for them right now at this point in the year. There are a couple key pieces and young pieces that the Giants have to offer. At the end of last week's game, Tyrone Tracy Jr. had another spectacular performance against the Steelers on Monday night. But at the end of that game, he did get his head banged off the grass, came off like a little wobbly, and he has been in the concussion protocol. Without him, you're looking at Eric Gray and Devin Singletary. The Giants are really big on Singletary coming into this year, but he's massively underwhelmed. Him and Eric Gray both have a severe case of fumbleitis, so it would be absolutely amazing if Tyrone Tracy could suit up for this one. But again, short, you have one less day to worry about because they played on Monday. And he's also a running back, so he's going to get popped several times coming in this one. And I think earlier in the game too, Tracy had like an arm issue and they were evaluating him for that. So he does seem like he cares and wants to play and be successful. Some other guys on the team don't want to do that, but if Tyrone Tracy Jr. wants to suit up and go, hopefully he could play because the Giants need him. And you could tell the Giants like him. They're finding creative ways to get him involved, whether it's through the screen game, stuff like that, or just doing like wheel routes and stuff like that to force plays to him. Also, this time around, Malik Nabers coming back, played against the Steelers last week, had a big drop towards the end of that game, and looking for him to bounce back. Where Nabers did have a really true coming out party when the Giants played the Commanders earlier this season. He had 10 receptions for almost 130 yards and a touchdown. Again, in that game, he did have a pretty significant drop towards the end of that game. And if you guys do recall, the Giants lost earlier this year to the Commanders 21-18 on the road on the play where Graham Gano got knocked out of the game on the opening kickoff. That didn't even matter. And then the Commanders won by kicking 7 field goals. And the Giants became the first team in history to score 3 touchdowns and lose to a team that did not score 1. So this season does seem a little bit doomed from the start, but we don't have to be too doom and gloom here. We did that on our reaction video on Monday, so you could go back and rewatch that if you want to see me super in the dumps. To turn on, one of the most positive things from this season is the ability and the play of number 97, Dexter Lawrence. Absolutely game-changing, game-breaker guy who should be in, I believe, in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. He's been playing absolutely amazing. So I know a lot of people don't even want to watch games anymore. And, with an offense so bad and watching Daniel Jones consistently make mistakes over and over, can't throw the ball down the field, 90 yards to go, 2-minute offense, trying to win the game. And he throws one of the worst interceptions I've seen in quite some time by overthrowing a running back when he had 2 guys open by 10 feet. So with all of that negative stuff, if you are going to watch the game, just appreciate number 97, Dexter Lawrence, because right now we're seeing him play one of the most special seasons that we've seen a Giants defensive player play in quite some time. And unfortunately, it seems like, or it is going to be all for really nothing. But it will be something to remember for him because it is so significantly special. And I can't remember the last time we had, it feels like so long ago, the days of like Michael Strahan, Tuck, OC, where they were making significant plays, getting to the quarterback, strip, sacks, fumbles. And Dexter's doing that, but he's doing it from a different angle, kind of in the internal defensive line position. So it is something to behold. It's something to appreciate. And it's something to ultimately, at the end of the day, give kudos and respect for, because, this guy could be one of these players that's stomping his feet and crying and wants to get out of town. And you could see, which we'll talk about in the Reddit mailbag, because I saw this pop up earlier when I was looking at Reddit this week, is he just says all the right things. He's a consummate professional and a captain and a leader on this team. So kudos to Dexter. And he's worth the price of admission for sure. To get to why I think the Giants actually have a chance to win this game, even like the Jets the other night, they've lost so many games in a row. The tide kind of changed. You score a couple touchdowns, your defense shows up, and you win. It's the NFL. Really, on any given Sunday, anything can happen. But more importantly, I want to show you right here is Daniel Jones's games against the Commanders specifically. And throughout his career, he is 5-2-1 versus the Commanders. Should have won earlier this year, but again, didn't happen. And you're looking at a total of 12 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions. He plays this team so much better than any other team he plays against. And when he had one of his best statistically career games of all time in 2019, which seems like an absolute lifetime ago, and just looking at these stats, I honestly can't even believe it, where he had over 350 passing yards and 5 touchdowns and no interceptions and was sacked once. It kind of feels like that is just lifetimes ago at this point, because that's in one game. I don't even think he has 5 touchdown passes this year, or like isn't even close to that. So that is why I think whatever it is, like I made a joke about this last season, Daniel Jones just needs to be hypnotized into thinking that he's playing the Commanders in any other team that he's playing. And for whatever reason, it works for him. So honestly, it doesn't make sense because the Giants offense has been so piss poor. Tracy, question mark. But I do think Daniel Jones, for whatever reason, I can't explain it. There's a lot of things with Daniel Jones you can't explain. Is he a nice guy? Yes. Does he do the right things? Yes. Is he the first person there, the last one to leave? Is he a great leader? Does he show poise? Does he not, yell at his teammates? Does he not get mad at the offensive line? Yes, he does all these things, but at the end of the day, he's not a great football player. For whatever reason, versus the Commanders, he's pretty freaking decent. So that's why I give the Giants a chance to win this weekend, and probably will take them as well. Something has to change because what they've done at home for this year and last year has been so abysmal that the law of averages just are stacked, and like they have to have a good game, and he has to have passing touchdowns or any sort of touchdowns at home. It's just an impossibility. But we'll see how this goes. If it continues to go really, really south, and I don't know how many close-up more shots we could see of Brian Dable with a stupid look on his face on the sideline and drawing up all these terrible BS plays that never really work, like the swinging gate last week where no one even knew what the play was. So I hope people were pretty pissed off in the media rooms this week. And you saw Deonte Banks benched in the third quarter. So I don't know what's going on with them. You got guys quitting, but it seems like a little bit worse than previous years where like guys are quitting in the middle of games and it's transferring week to week. So that's something that's unacceptable. And I think you don't really see it too often in the NFL because when guys get those reputations, it's really hard to shake and get rid of them. So that's why I think it's interesting to me to see like a guy like Banks who did have some potential to already at this point in his career just taking plays off, not wanting to hit people and do what he's supposed to do as a cornerback playing defense in the NFL. So I think he's got to look in the mirror. Maybe he's just super immature. Maybe he's not ready to be an NFL player. Maybe the bench is the best place for him for the time being. So let me know what you guys think on that. Anyway, let's jump over to Reddit mailbag. It's Reddit mailbag time. Okay, first and foremost from Ryan Dunleavy. Dexter Lawrence isn't going to follow the lead of frustrated NFL stars who seek trades off losing teams. He wants to earn a spot in the Giants' ring of honor after he finds the right buttons to press his leader. Love to hear that. Again, Dexter is someone who's been a consummate professional through his entire career. We couldn't love him anymore. He always says the right things. He's an absolute leader, captain in that locker room, and you could tell when he talks, the guys respect it. So there's like rumors. I don't know if it's like a Bleacher Report thing because I'm not on Twitter or X anymore, so I'll get the Bleacher Report notifications, but they're always like top landing spots for so-and-so players by the trade deadline. Like if the Giants actually trade Dexter Lawrence, I'll be pretty sad if they do that. And because I think at this point he needs to be a Giant for life. And if you do trade him, you got to get, I don't know, like a lot of picks back for him. Daniel Jones trying to read the pocket. Got Mike Tyson trying to read the cat in the hat. I don't know if that's real or photoshopped, but hilarious nonetheless. Or is that, no, Floyd? That's Floyd, actually. Happy Halloween. Play 1, snap ball, watch Daniel Jones be an idiot. Play 2, find a way to lose. Yeah, this is really spot on. He kind of looks like Dable. He just needs like a stogie too. But cocky Dable doesn't really smoke the stogies after games anymore because the Giants haven't had any real chances to win. But I will say there was a thing last weekend or on Monday night that happened that didn't really get talked about. It's a kind of a glitch in the play right now or like a loophole in the rules where at the end of that game, the Steelers could have let the clock run before the play and go further. I think it was maybe second or third. I think first down, the Giants gave up 7 or 8 yards. Second down, they could have just ran more clock. But what the Giants do with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left or something is they put 12 men on the field. They give them the automatic first down, the Steelers the automatic first down, which they cannot decline the penalty. So that causes the clock to stop, and then the Giants were able to then make a stop, use their timeouts, and get the 2-minute warning, and get the ball back. Otherwise, they would have been able to take more. They would have had more downs to take more time off the clock. So, kind of a heads-up play by Dable. It's not going to get talked about because they lost, obviously, but once it happens at a key point, probably in the playoffs, or if it happens against the Chiefs or whoever the top team is, you'll probably see that loophole switch. But I think right now the only one that would be able to do that would probably be if the Chiefs lost on that. Worst performances all time in prime time: 1-15, 3-11, 6-21. Daniel Jones, Geno, and Andy Dalton. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable. It seems almost impossible that someone could be 1-15 in primetime games, and these are games that they are supposed to put the best teams in primetime that will get the biggest eyeballs, because at the end of the day, this league is about selling advertisements. And what was it, 97 out of 100 of the top games in 2023 were NFL games. So it's all about eyeballs, and you're doing a disservice to your advertisers and brands wanting to spend dollars on NFL games when you have Daniel Jones there, because a lot of people tuning it out. And yeah, you're also seeing too, to talk about Daniel Jones at 1-15 in primetime games. This is year 6. The Giants are still sticking with him. They've paid him significant amounts of money. On the flip side of things, if you look at a team like the Indianapolis Colts, they have benched Anthony Richardson only after 10 NFL games. Obviously, Anthony Richardson hasn't been great, and he also had the weird checking out of games recently because he was tired, but he's also coming off a significant injury, same as Jones. And I don't know, and some teams just do a good job, or just even Bryce Young with the Panthers benched. Guys get benched early on. No, I don't think any other quarterback will ever have a chance to do what Daniel Jones has done through his career, which is get consistent playing time over 6 years, but never really be ultimately too successful outside of one season, which he was okay. Eli's fed up with the Giants on the TJ Watt sack. I'm not going to play it, but there was a thing that happened here where they said Theo Johnson was supposed to come in motion here. Eli actually says it, and if you want to watch this clip, you could find it. But Eli says it before. He's like, Danny's got to put Theo in motion so they could block TJ Watt. It seemed like it was just a given that this is what quarterbacks do. I don't also understand why they have to put him in motion. Why not just line him up where TJ Watt has been? But then you could go to the motion if you want to. Eli said it watching it on the Manning cast, which is the best. Then you also had, after the game, Dable in the press conference saying Danny didn't motion him when he was supposed to. So, I don't know. Danny Dimes just doesn't get it. Love getting, humiliated in prime time. Tough one, boys. Looks like 11-6. What we got to settle for this year. Dable face. So, yeah, that's it for today's show. Thank you guys for watching. And, yeah, let's go Giants this weekend. And, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.